Hey, this is Nat, and we're off our couch again in Pensacola, Florida. In Northwest Florida, in the westernmost city of the Florida Panhandle, exploring yet another remarkable attraction here, the National Naval Aviation Museum. The National Naval Aviation Museum recognizes the heroic men and women who have served and have also advanced naval aviation. The National Naval Aviation Museum is the world's largest naval aviation museum with over 350,000 square feet of exhibit space, as well as 37 acres outside the museum. The history of naval aviation begins as soon as you reach the museum on the outside with aircraft and exhibits, which includes a monument honoring those pilots who made the ultimate sacrifice flying the F-14 Tomcat, and it continues to the inside also where more courageous soldiers are honored. Over 150 amazing and restored aircrafts that have taken to the skies are prominently displayed within this museum, as well as over 4,000 artifacts that are spread over 2 floors and another building. So in this video, we're going to walk around and explore as much as we can of this museum. We're also going to explore under the expertise of a tour guide. Our aim will be to explore as much of this free museum as we possibly can on both the inside and the outside. And yes, this is a free museum. There is no charge to enter the museum. It is now open to the public, and there are no parking fees either. So this is a free thing to do here in Pensacola. This museum is packed with history. It's also hands-on, so it's highly engaging, and it will leave you with a wealth of knowledge and appreciation, I believe. And there's still lots more to explore here in Pensacola, and we will be back later this year to do that and see lots more. So definitely subscribe if you have to do so. Keep getting off the couch with us and leave your suggestions and recommendations for Pensacola, things to do, attractions, restaurants, all of that good stuff in the comments below, please. We most definitely appreciate it. Focusing back on this museum, our current attraction, before we get really deep into all that you can take in and enjoy here, let's talk about a few things you need to know to get to the museum. The National Naval Aviation Museum is on NAS Pensacola, just like the Pensacola Lighthouse. If you've been getting off the couch with us, you may remember that we did visit the Pensacola Lighthouse just a few videos back. Thanks so much for joining us for that video. And the Pensacola Lighthouse is on the same street within walking distance of the National Naval Aviation Museum. To get to the lighthouse or the museum, you will need to enter the west gate on the south end of Blue Angel Parkway. That entrance is open from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. daily. There are entrance requirements also, and I will include the link for all the entry details in the description box. So we have a lot to do and see as part of our free entry into the museum. And there are also activities available to pay for within the museum, like movies. There is a 325-seat giant screen theater with full 4K resolution. Also, the museum is cashless. Just a heads up, there is a snack bar by the theater. Snacks and movies just go along together. Everyone knows that. There is another food option, the Kubi Bar Cafe. The Kubi Bar Cafe duplicates the bar area of the famous Kubi Point Officers Club in the Republic of the Philippines, where there was a tradition of retiring old plaques and authorizing new plaques. And these plaques on the wall here are from the Kubi Point Officers Club, which closed in 1992. The Kubi Bar Cafe serves salads, deli sandwiches, and dessert. Another experience to enjoy at a cost here are the motion-based simulators and Max Flight 360 simulators. You can purchase tickets for the simulators online or at the snack bar. Okay, so we've covered all of the extras. Let's go ahead and get started walking around. Now, you'll definitely want to obtain a map of the museum from the website. Again, I will have the link in the description box, or take a picture of the map located at the information desk. That way you know where you're going and you know what you're looking at too as you tour the museum. The first floor features the groundbreaking story of the first transatlantic flight completed by the U.S. Navy's NC-4 Curtiss flying boat. I cannot believe how big this plane is. There's also early aircraft on the first floor, the Flying Tigers exhibit, an exhibit honoring a group of American volunteer pilots who destroyed 296 Japanese aircraft despite having limited supplies during World War II. There is a World War I exhibit as well, And the QB Bar Cafe that we just talked about previously is also here on the first floor. That's all in the south wing of the first floor. And in the west wing is a giant screen theater we mentioned earlier, World War II aircraft, along with an end of World War II exhibit, sunken treasures, and the Blue Angels cockpits. Just to name a sample of the exhibits on the first floor. I do feel like sitting in the Blue Angels cockpits, the Navy's Flight Demonstration Squadron, is a must. Getting your picture taken here is something that you just have to do. The Blue Angels are based here in NAS Pensacola, and they also perform 2 shows here in Pensacola. And Pensacola is the only city where they do perform twice. I did share that recently on our Instagram page. Every Monday I share a fact that we come across while on our travels. So do follow us on Instagram if you get to do so. We share lots of interesting tidbits there. Climbing into this cockpit can be a bit tricky, at least for me. Obviously, I'm just not cut out to be a pilot, but I can dream, right? Look at how cool these pictures are. London is telling me that he discovered while filming the Blue Angels Hornet on the outside of the museum that the Blue Angels pilots served 2 to 3 years on the Flight Demonstration Squadron before returning to service in their fleet. That's interesting to know, and if you are a Blue Angels fan, you'll definitely want to check out the Flight Deck store, which is also located on the first floor. There's plenty of Blue Angels merchandise available to pick up as a souvenir, as well as merchandise representing all of the various branches of the U.S. military. Okay, we're going to go ahead and head to the second floor. Well, London and the kids are heading to the second floor. I did not make it to the second floor. I was just too fascinated with the first floor exhibits and I ran out of time. Anyways, the second floor has the motion-based simulators that we were discussing at the beginning of the video. Also, there are cockpit trainers, the Hall of Honor, Medal of Honor Awards, Homefront USA, which is an exhibit representing the American lifestyle in the early 1940s during World War II, and still many more exhibits. And then we still have another building to explore, Hangar Bay One. And on the way to that building, there are more monuments, more aircraft, more to explore on the outside on our way to the Hangar Bay One. Wow, this museum is just packed and we haven't even made it to the other building. We are getting there though, and now we are heading into Hangar Bay One. There is the Apollo Space Exhibit, the Coast Guard Aviation Exhibit, Vietnam POW Exhibit, and Women in Naval Aviation. What's really fascinating about history, in my opinion, is when you look into the history of any subject, it's going to automatically take you through the history of other subjects and just history in general. So the Women in Naval Aviation takes you through some of women's history, and we had the opportunity to learn about some additional Black history when we read about Jessie L. Brown, the first African American to complete the Navy's flight training program. That was on the first floor of the main building, and all these aircraft that are surrounding us right now, representing advances in technology, basically the history of the aircraft and military warfare. Really interesting. In addition to being surrounded by all of the history and information, as well as these amazing aircraft, I love the photo opportunities here. In fact, here's a really cool photo opportunity right here. Okay, so this is where we would stand for the picture. And okay, that's the cockpit. And what's over here? Oh, Mr. President. Oh, I'm so sorry to disturb you. Okay, well, we better end it there before we get escorted out. So that is the end, well, a summary of our self-guided tour, which was incredibly informative. But I have to admit, guided tours are always better as far as I'm concerned, especially when you're dealing with a museum with the multitude of exhibits, artifacts, and aircraft that the National Naval Aviation Museum holds. And the National Naval Aviation Museum actually offers complimentary guided tours. When London and I saw this, we had to come back and take advantage of a guided tour. So our tour is being led by a retired Marine who served for 22 years, and he starts by explaining that the naval aviation covers more than just Navy. It's Navy, Marine Corps, and Coast Guard flyers. And our guide is quick to point out the first thing that we should be noticing when we walk into the museum. I thought that would be this huge screen, this really huge cool screen, which has the plane coming in. We have taken many pictures and videos in front of this screen already. And then there's another huge screen that has a plane taking off. Those were the first two things that I noticed at least. But right at the entrance, as soon as you walk into the museum, the guide is pointing out the very first airplane that the Navy bought in March of 1911 for $50,000. Wow, 1911. That's nearly 8 years after the Wright brothers successfully built and flew the first powered airplane. So this incredible fact really helps visitors to understand the spectacular amount of history that is covered in this museum. And I'll be honest, I'm ashamed to say this, I didn't even notice this plane. Neither time that I walked into this museum. I did notice the Spirit of Naval Aviation Monument honoring aviators from World War I, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, and Desert Storm, and somehow did not notice the A1 Triad, a plane that could operate from the water using a single float, on land using wheels, and in the air, hence the name Triad. The timeline of the Navy improving their aircraft as well as obtaining more vessels continues during this tour, which is 2 hours. Yes, the guided tour is 2 hours because we're not only learning about all of the vessels of the Navy, Marine Corps, and Coast Guard, we'll also learn about the conflicts and wars that these vessels and aviators took part in. So there is a lot. We're starting from 1911, remember? So there is a lot to go over. The good thing is that this is not a structured tour, so you can come in and out of the tour. You're welcome to walk away if you decide you want to wander around and then jump back into the tour, which is what I'm doing. Not because I want to. I would love to participate in the entire 2-hour tour. I am an information sponge, but because there is a scavenger hunt that my daughter and I must undertake. So the museum does offer scavenger hunts for kids to keep them engaged during the tour. I'm holding 2 of the scavenger hunts available at the museum right now. I have the easy and advanced scavenger hunt. My son is not going to do the advanced scavenger hunt. He's on a tour with London. Like me, he is an information sponge and is trying to take in all of the information of the 2-hour tour. My daughter heard the word prize and said, let's do this. So here we go. The scavenger hunt is taking us all around the first floor of the museum and even into the Hangar Bay One building, which I love because I did get the chance to pop back into the guided tour from time to time and hear some really intensive details about World War II and the bombing of Pearl Harbor, as well as the Battle of Midway, where just one pilot out of 30 from Torpedo Squadron 8, George Gay, survived. And there's a book by Mr. Gay about the ordeal and the aftermath. Wow, there's so much to understand about naval aviation history in this museum. And the scavenger hunt that my daughter is pulling me back into now also does a really great job of retelling naval aviation history. The pictures make it easy for young kids to find the different planes, and the short descriptions summarize the importance of that plane because it draws my eyes to the details of the plane in order to find it amongst all of the planes that are on this floor as well as above our heads. I'm noticing and learning even more. I love it. And check out our prizes too. We have a plane cut out from the Battle of Midway, a Blue Angels poster, and a sticker. That's a pretty nice haul. Wow, what a day here at this museum. And you do need the full day, I would say. More like 2 days if you really want to immerse yourself, you really want to experience everything, because there's just so much to do and even more to see. So not only is this an affordable attraction here in Pensacola, it's also very enlightening and also very engaging. I highly recommend it. I wasn't sure what to expect. I'm not a military history enthusiast. I'm not really into planes either, but this is a really nice museum. Very well done. I highly recommend the guided tour. Also, if you can make it during those times, it's excellent to go on because it really gives you an overall idea of everything that's happening and that's being retold in the museum. The little bit of the guided tour that I got to be a part of was outstanding. London and my son got to hear more of it. It was overwhelming, especially for my son. He was trying hard to keep track of it all, but they both really enjoyed hearing about the different aircraft and the aviators. I would love to come back. I'm so glad that it's open to the public now. I would love to experience the full guided tour, actually see the second floor also. That would be nice. And I'd love to do the simulators, see a movie, take more photos. That's our thoughts. Tell us your thoughts. Are you planning a visit to the National Naval Aviation Aviation Museum? What exhibits or experiences are you looking forward to? Or have you already visited? We'd love to hear about your past, present, and future experiences. Please share that with us in the comments. And if you're planning or pulling together a trip to Pensacola and you're visiting multiple attractions, multiple sites here in the city, we'd love to hear all about that too. Feel free to share those adventures with us in the comments, and also keep sharing these adventures with us too, because a new adventure happens each and every Saturday. And next video, we're out of Pensacola, but we are still in the Florida Panhandle. We're in Navarre Beach, Florida, enjoying 6 cool things to do here. So join us off the couch, please. Subscribe and hit that notification bell if you yet to do so you don't miss any new content, because this is going to be a fun, educational, and beautiful adventure. So definitely join us, and join us for more travel inspiration on our monthly newsletter too at offourcouch.com. The sign up link is also in the description box. As always, thanks so much for joining us for this historical high-flying adventure here at the National Naval Aviation Museum. Thank you for all of the likes, the comments, the feedback, and the suggestions. All of your input makes these adventures possible, and we greatly appreciate it. Until next video, click on the link to see another one of our experiences. Thanks for watching.